Welcome back to DataShark Academy. Let's talk about some design considerations for your Kafka applications. Specifically, we will talk about consumer commits. There are three types of possibilities that Kafka provides for your applications on the consumer side. We'll talk about each one of them one by one. Make sure that you understand this thoroughly because it could be one of the key questions for your interviews also. Alright, so let's start with first type of the consumer commit. It's called at most once. What it means? As soon as a message is received by a consumer, it is committed in Kafka. Kafka will not allow consumer to read that same message again from the partition. What these two lines means is that as soon as the message is read by the consumer, Kafka will mark that offset ID into its consumer offset ID topic. Okay. So next time if you want to read the same message with the same offset ID, you will not be able to. So the commit is basically happening as soon as the message is received by the consumer. Whether it is processed or not, it's not a matter of Kafka's consideration. Okay. In most cases, this mode should be fine. But if a consumer goes down or fails in between, then the last message that is read will be lost and it will be missed in the processing. But there are many applications, many use cases that you can still design using this kind of commit. So here's one example. When you want to use this kind of commit, use it with the configuration in cases when some data loss is okay and it won't break the application or your business use case. All right. Let's move to the next commit. The second type of the commit is called at least once. In this case, as soon as a message is processed by consumer, it is marked as committed. So it's kind of Kafka is waiting for the message to be processed. Here, please note that we are not saying that the message is received but processed. In previous type of the commit was happening as soon as the message is received. In this case, it will be committed only after the message is processed by the consumer. So with this kind of configuration, if consumer fails to process a message or goes down before message could be processed successfully, it can read it again from Kafka and retry it. So this kind of setup is more fault tolerant system, right? When to use this kind of cases? So use this kind of configuration in cases when processing duplicate messages won't break the application or your business use case. Okay. For example, say your consumer processed the request, but before it could send the commit response to the Kafka, it went down, right? So what will happen is you can restart the consumer and request the same message from the Kafka again and process it, right? But if your application is designed in a way that reprocessing a duplicate message will create issues in the business, then you should not use this kind of commit. Okay. An example of that could be, say you are transferring money, okay, and you process one request to transfer the money, but before you could commit it, it failed, right? So you requested the same message again and reprocess it. So you transfer the money again. So in this kind of business use cases, you should not use at least once commit. All right. Let's look at the third one. So third type of the consumer commit is called exactly once. In this case, even if producer sends a message twice, it should only be added to Kafka topic only once. This mode avoids duplicate messages. To enable this feature on the producer side, use enable.idempotence equal to true. Behind the scene, each batch of messages sent to Kafka will have a sequence number, which the broker uses to avoid duplicates. So basically, you are sending a batch of messages, and that batch has a number, and that number is tracked by the broker. So it will not process same batch number again. On the consumer side, client application must not break if same message is processed twice. So Kafka Stream API has this feature inbuilt, which can be enabled as processing.guarantee equal to exactly underscore once. By setting this property, you can enable exactly once commit. And in Kafka Stream API, which is I think part of the Kafka version 10, you have this feature inbuilt. All right. So this make Kafka Stream to send and process messages exactly once. If you want to do it manually on your own, it's very hard to do it because your whole system needs to work in coordination with each and every component. Okay. When to use this kind of setting? In mission critical application basically, where each message must be processed only once. Okay. So there are many use cases you will find like that. And in those cases, when you are writing your application, try to understand if you really need exactly once or not. And if you do, then you can use Kafka Stream APIs and set these properties to enable it. Okay. So I hope that you enjoyed this lesson and I'll see you in the next class.